Welcome students, welcome to the class of Pharmaceutical Jurisprudence. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss principles and significance of professional ethics in profession of pharmacy in India. But before that, we will discuss about pharmacy and healthcare system in particularly India. In India, the healthcare system in ancient time was in existence in the form of Ayurveda. There were no separate pharmacy and healthcare system in ancient India, but we were practicing Ayurveda. We were using the plant as a medicines, and even the patients given herbal medicines or the medicines were prepared in home, or the relatives or family members of patients were preparing the medicines. So there was no separate concept of pharmacy in healthcare system in ancient times in India. After invasion of Muslim emperors in 1200 AD, the Unani system introduced in India. Some of the medicines were utilized in India at that time, and some of them are still utilized in modern practice also. After that, when Britishers came to India, they bring the system of allopathy in India. With coming allopathy, the healthcare system was actually broadly explained, because under allopathy there were distribution or classification of functions of various persons under allopathy, like medical practitioners. What is the role of medical practitioner? What is the role of nurse? These terminologies came into existence: medical practitioner, nurse, compounder. Similarly, the word pharmacist came into existence with this allopathy system came into India with Britishers. Then the term of pharmacy and pharmacists start evolving in India in pre-independence as well as post-independence period. Nowadays it is in well-established form, so it is divided into various types of pharmacists. So we will discuss in which categories we can divide pharmacists right now. So there is first category we can say, that is industrial pharmacist. Industrial pharmacist means those who are working in industry. There are also various types or departments in industry, like production, quality assurance, quality control, research and development, formulation development. So all those pharmacists which are working in this area of industry are called as industrial pharmacists. Second category is community pharmacists. The pharmacists which are working in retail shop or wholesale shop are called as community pharmacists. They are called community pharmacists because they are directly dealing with the community. They are providing medicines to the community. That's why they are called as community pharmacists. Third is hospital pharmacists. This branch of pharmacy is evolving in India. This pharmacist is having right of choice of drug, because they will decide which drug to be given to the patients. And last type is academic pharmacists, that is those who are in teaching profession. So we have seen the types of pharmacists. Now we'll see the roles of pharmacists. What is the role of pharmacist? First role is prescription adherence, means whatever prescription is given by the medical practitioners, the pharmacist must adhere to the prescription given, should not make change in any change in the prescription. Second role of pharmacist is storage and distribution of drugs. So in retail as well as wholesale, or wherever the pharmacist is working, the role assigned is storage and distribution of drug. It is duty or it is the role of the pharmacist to observe whether the storage or distribution of drug is going on in proper condition or not. Next role is drug choice. We are currently right now discussed that this role is related with the hospital pharmacist. Next is drug monitoring. It is role of particular machineries like departments like food and drug administration. We see the drug inspectors monitor drug from manufacture, that is manufacturing in it, to distribution and until it reaches to the patients. So drug monitoring is also one of role. Next is information and education. It is duty of pharmacists to provide information and education regarding drugs to the society. Next is clinical pharmacokinetics. It is role of pharmacists to study clinical pharmacokinetics. It is related to the new drugs which are coming into the market, the clinical studies to be done on these new drugs, and which is the role of pharmacist. Next is research and development, where the new molecules are to be discussed or new formulations are to be done. This research and development scientists, there is also a role of pharmacists to do research. Then last one is other categories. There are various categories evolving in this area right now, like pharmacovigilance. So the roles of pharmacists are increasing day by day, no doubt, as the various branches are developing in pharmacy. But roughly these are some roles of pharmacists which is to be done in healthcare system in India. Now we will discuss principles and significance of professional ethics. But before that, we need to know what is ethics. So ethics and law, we will differentiate between these two, and then we will come to know what is ethics and what is law. First, ethics is, or ethics we can say, are moral principles, but law is rule of conduct. So law is how to act. It is written in the rule, but ethics is nothing like a rule. It is just a moral principle. Second point, it is not binding. Ethics is not binding, while law is binding. You can't break the law. You have to obey the law. That is bindingness of the law. But in case of ethics or moral principles, that is not binding. For example, if you are helping your neighbor, it is not written in law that you have to help your neighbor, but you help your neighbor because it is a moral principle that you should help your neighbor. It is not binding on you. So it is ethical part of your life. So similarly, all the professions should carry some moral principles that are professional ethics, right? So ethics is applicable to group of individuals, while law is applicable to all the persons of state. For example, if any law is enacted in India, then all persons of India are bound to obey that law. But in case of ethics, it is applicable to the group of individuals. For example, if there is a pharmaceutical ethics, it will be binding on only the pharmacist in this country, right? And last point, that is what will happen if we break the ethics or break the law. If you break the law, there is provision of punishment and fine. There may be imprisonment available for breaking any law. But in case of ethics, there is no such provision of punishment or fine. So what is done if anybody breaks the ethics? There is provision of loss of privilege. Whatever privilege is provided by that profession, that will be removed from that person. For example, any pharmacist breaks any ethics or breaks any of the ethical point or moral principle given in the profession, then the registration of pharmacist can be cancelled or suspended for particular time period. That is loss of privilege as a pharmacist. So this is basically difference from of ethics and law. So now we'll discuss various points regarding ethics. So why ethics is necessary to be a pharmacist? So what is necessary to be a pharmacist? Firstly, to be a pharmacist, what is necessary? That we need a professional knowledge and skill. So if particular persons is having a good professional knowledge and skill, can we say that he is a perfect pharmacist or he is a pharmacist, complete pharmacist? No. We should have some other things, that is social understanding. The person should have social understanding in which society he lives and what is the requirement of that society and what he can do with his profession to help the society. That understanding should be with that pharmacist. Then only the profession will be fulfilled. The next requirement is that he should be having a ethical behavior with him. So then only he will be a pharmacist who will be having good professional practice. So the three requirements are there, that the pharmacist not only have professional knowledge and skill, he must have social understanding. Also, he must have the ethical behavior. The total effect of all these three together will make a good pharmacist, right? So we don't need only pharmacists, we need a good pharmacist. Because why we need good pharmacists? Because we have to keep status of our profession. Because in society, the status of our profession will be at higher level. If the pharmacist will having these three qualities, there will be a good pharmacy and the status of profession will be raised in the society. So that is actual use of this ethics or professional ethics. That's why we are studying professional ethics. So in this professional ethics or code of pharmaceutical ethics, what we are going to discuss. In first, we will discuss pharmacist in relation to his job. While doing job, pharmacist encounters with various services, various pharmaceutical services, depending upon which type of pharmacist he is. So what are the services and what are the ethics or what are the code of ethics which are binding on that pharmacist to be obeyed? We will discuss one by one. First area of pharmaceutical services is medical store and pharmacy. Suppose a person starts a medical store, means pharmacy starts a medical store or pharmacy. Pharmacy is the place where the dispensing and compounding of drugs takes place. It is right now vanished, not in existence, but still we discuss it. The medical store or pharmacist. So what is the first ethics in that? The medical shop should be efficient and comprehensive. Efficient means it should have the good variety of medicines. It should have good variety of medicines or drugs. And comprehensive means it should have a various range of drugs. Means if a prescription comes and you are saying that I am having only 2 medicines in that prescription, other medicines I don't have. So that service is not a comprehensive service. So you should provide comprehensive service and efficient service. That should be good drug medicines or good medicines you should have in your medical store. That is ethics. Second ethical point is you should provide medicines in medical store without undue delay. If there is something emergency, you should not make laziness in providing that medicines, because it is a matter of emergency, that is life of patients. You should provide the medicines without undue delay. In case of emergency, the pharmacist should supply medicines at all times. So there is no time binding for in these hours only the pharmacist should provide or supply medicines in medical stores. If there is emergency, at any time the pharmacist can supply the medicines as per the pharmaceutical ethics. Then there should be a qualified responsible pharmacist for conduct. So when you are running a medical store, there must be a qualified responsible pharmacist, means registered pharmacist which is having knowledge of training of selling medicines. Then he can only conduct the selling of the medicine in medical store. Next ethics is avoid accidental contamination during preparation, dispensing and supply. In this point is particularly applicable to the pharmacy where the dispensing or preparation of dosage form is taken place. So nowadays this ethics is not much important for discussion. Next ethics is appearance should be professional to look pharmacy practice main purpose, means the appearance of your medical shop should be look like a medical shop, because it should be clean and tidy. It should not look like automobile garage. So it should be clean and tidy, so that the customer can easily identify, yes, this is a medical shop. So next pharmaceutical service we are going to discuss is regarding with the prescription. When the pharmacist come across a prescription, what is his duty or what is his ethics to be followed? First is prescription should not be discussed with patients or others about merits and demerits of the efficiency. Even if you are having knowledge of drug, the whatever medicines which are prescribed in prescription, you should not discuss, or we should not discuss with patient as well as any other person that it is good medicine, that is bad medicines, because it will make disbelief in the mind of patient regarding the prescriber. Second, should not even show any expression so that the faith in prescription lost. Means there is also restriction that you not make any gestures looking at the expressions, so that the patient will or the customer will identify from your expression that there is something wrong in the prescription. So because that will reduce or that will lose the faith of that patient. The next ethics that is in relation to the prescription is no addition, omission, substitution without permission of prescriber should be done in the prescription except there is emergency. The next ethics to be followed is in case of error in prescription, it should be referred back for the correction to the prescriber. The next ethics to be followed while prescription, if change is to be made, that should not affect the reputation of the prescriber. Then there should not recommend any prescriber unless asked. Say, that is, you should not say to any patient or any person that is a good prescriber or that is a good doctor, you should go to that doctor unless it is asked. You should not yourself tell that this doctor is good or bad. Next pharmaceutical services we are going to discuss is in relation with the drug and ingredient, in which first ethics is the drug should be measured correctly while dispensing. This ethics is applicable for the pharmacy where the dispensing and compounding of drug takes place. So nowadays this ethics is irrelevant or it is not much applicable. Second is should always use medicines of standard quality. This is again not much relevant ethics because most of the drugs are now manufactured by the industries and which are coming in unit dosage forms, and the pharmacies are selling in proper unit dosage forms. So there is no relevancy of this maintaining standard quality of the pharmacist in retail shop. But when the pharmacist is dealing with the medicines in industry, definitely he has to follow the ethics that the medicines must be of standard quality. Lastly, the drug likely to cause addiction or abuse and you reason to believe that it might use for such purpose, then should not be supplied. Means if the customer is demanding a medicine and you know that medicine is having addiction liability or can be abused, it means for example the sedatives, some of the sedatives can be used by some persons for addiction or abusive purpose or hallucination. So these kind of medicines should not be supplied. If you have reason that you have reason to believe that that person is definitely going to use it for addiction, then you should not supply such kind of medicine. That is ethics of our pharmaceutical ethics or professional ethics. Next, service is while giving up training of pharmacists, what kind of ethics should be followed? Firstly, while training, the in-charge pharmacist must observe that trainee pharmacist is acquiring sufficient technique and skill. So it is duty of in-charge pharmacist that whether the training pharmacist is acquiring sufficient knowledge, techniques and skills that so that in future when he starts his premises he can serve the society in better manner. And next, no certificate should be granted to trainee before or without completion of training period. So there is a condition of completing particular training period after completion of the pharmacy courses like D pharmacy, B pharmacy. So if the trainee pharmacist is doing training, the certificate should be given to that pharmacist only if that trainee pharmacist completes his training. Without completing the training, the certificate should not be given to the pharmacist. So it will not be ethical to give such a certificate. So these are the some professional ethics we have discussed which to be followed in the profession of pharmacy. In next coming lectures we will discuss pharmacist in relation with the medical practitioner, pharmacist in relation with his colleagues in the profession and other things. Thank you.